For guests situated at the entrance exits are available. For occupants at the VIP gallery, the main entrance and north and south VIP exits are available. For occupants at the second floor gallery, there are exits available at both sides. For occupants at the third floor gallery, there are available exits at the east and west sides.
Wala dito.
The session is now called to order. Please stand for the singing of the national anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka masisingil. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong totoo, may nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdiligdig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa ay di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng maraming pagsikat, buhay ay langit sa atin.
Tagaraw, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Ataide, Omentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Baskug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Biliones, Biron, Bolilia, Bondok, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulot Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayon Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro Franz, Castro Jane, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalao, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizaldi, Ko Pilar, Ko Juanco Jaime Eduardo Mark, Ko Juanco Mark, Colada, Coliantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cuwa, Cuaresma, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor, Del Mar, De Los Santos, Dimaporo Muhammad Khalid, Dimaporo Siti Amina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Yudela, Fariñas, Fernandez, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fuentebella, Galeyos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo Jan, Garcia Vincent, Guardiola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Goed Christopher, Gomark, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Goriseta, Guico, Gintu, Gulias, Gutierrez, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Oribata, Javier, Ko Olga, Ko Ricardo, Ko Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sani, Lara, Lazatin, Lee, Legarda, Libanan, Lim Kay Chong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Makapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Manikiz, Manuel, Maranyon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marinio, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Nograles Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles Margarita, Nolasco, Owaminal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongjuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Uwano Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Pleito, Primisa Sagabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramonjolo, Reyes, Rilio, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Eulogio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yadamari, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Salimbangon, Salo, Santos, Saulug, Silverio, Singson Richel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Suwansing Horacio, Suwansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Talyado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chay, Tan Watco, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Irwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Uy, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Villago, Yamsuan, Yap Christiantel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvig, Yap Eric, U Divina Grace, U Giselle Victoria, Yulo, Zamora Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 177 members responded to the call.
With 177 members responding to the call, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, considering that copies of Journal Number 3, dated July 31, 2024, were already distributed to the members, I move to dispense with the reading, therefore, and subsequently to approve the said journal. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The reading of the said journal is dispensed with, and Journal Number 3, dated July 31, 2024, is hereby approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize in the meantime the guests of Congresswoman Honorable Attorney Jervil Jinky Beatrix R. Luistro. The visitors are from the municipality of Mabini, Batangas. Lucena A. Onda, Vernalisa D. Magsino, Glyceria D. Bongkin, Mylene P. Salvador, Rona Altura, Maria Consolacion G. Betco, Marilu B. Nazareno, Ronalyn D. Manigbas, Josephine Bedico, Jennifer De Torres, Gail Ann B. Roleda, Marcel Macayaon, Arlene A. Canillo, Teresa N. De La Cruz, Maria Isabel A. Matira, LVY Panopio, Sophia Lynn C. Gonoon, Estelita F. Balisi, Liberty Bonado, Mary Joyce Salazar, Mary Jane Vergara, Leilani Santos, Jacqueline M. Medrano, Jaylene Rongavilla, Eileen Bello, Michelle G. Castillo, Maria Cecilia C. Anglo, Leila Di Maano, Jerlyn Sartin, Loretta Gutierrez, Mary Ann Casapao, Jennifer A. Cabungcal, Liwayway Ramos, Marie Christine C. Estrellado, Michelle Antigua, Catherine Ilagan, and Mary Jane Sandoval, and District Staff Angelo A. Manongsong and Nenita Dalangin.
To the guests of the Honorable Jinky Luistro, welcome to the House of Representatives. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Next, Mr. Speaker, may we also recognize the guests of Representative Roberto T. Uy from the 1st District of Zamboanga del Norte, Ricky Cuenca, Charnel Batulan Bador Villamin, Attorney Pete Zamora, and December Gay Carrion.
To the guest of the Honorable Roberto Uy from the 1st District of Zamboanga del Norte, welcome to the House of Representatives. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we also move to recognize the guests of Representative, the Honorable Representative Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. May we recognize Pampanga Culinary members Michael Castañeda, Ryan Miranda, Arwin Paul Lingat, Robbie Tantinco, Nicolette Henson Hizon, Tonette Orejas, Anika Dayan Santos, and Ronsan Macapagal.
To the guests of the Honorable Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, welcome to the House of Representatives. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to suspend for a few minutes.
Session suspended. Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, under the calendar business of the day, I move that we consider House Bill 10634 as contained in Committee Report Number 1139, submitted by the Committee on Tourism.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, copies of the bill has been previously distributed to the members. May I request the Secretary General to read the title of the bill?
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill number 10634.
House Bill number 10634, an act declaring the province of Pampanga as the culinary capital of the Philippines.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the chairperson of the Committee on Tourism be recognized to being sponsorship of the measure.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The committee chairman of the Committee on Tourism, Honorable Madrona, is recognized to sponsor the measure. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, good afternoon. As chairman of the Committee on Tourism, it is my pleasure to sponsor today House Bill number 10634, entitled An Act Declaring the Province of Pampanga as the Culinary Capital of the Philippines, as embraced in Committee Report number 1139, which has been approved by the Committee on Tourism. The Committee on Tourism is mandated to facilitate measures relating to the development and promotion of tourism in the country. Consequently, it includes measures declaring areas as tourism destinations and some as capital of certain tourism components like culinary tourism. Culinary tourism is derived from the contemporary concept of food as a subject of exploration, hence a destination for tourism. While it traditionally highlights the food and dining experience as a commercial enterprise, it scrolled out to establish a more dynamic significance, channeling curiosity about culture and people through culinary experience. While Pampanga culinary history stretches back as far as a century, its embodiment of a rich culinary culture worthy of global recognition and even emulation remains undisputed until today, with sisig being described as arguably the greatest pork dish on earth by the New York Times food columnist, and perfectly positioned to win the hearts and minds of the world as a whole by the late celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain. It is no surprise that Pampanga has impressed the palates of people from across the world. The odyssey of Kapampangan cuisine started from household secret recipes to well-known restaurants' exquisite menus. True enough, Condé Nast, the renowned global media company, dubbed the Kapampangan cuisine as the most exciting and consistent, and recognized as one of its top 13 unsung food destinations of the world. Mr. Speaker, as we continue to position our country at the forefront of global tourism, it is my utmost desire that we, as one chamber, approve House Bill number 10634 to formally declare the province of Pampanga as the culinary capital of the Philippines. I am certain that such declaration shall not only bring about a facet of development insofar as culinary tourism, but a ripple effect from the sustainable tourism that will spur economic development across this country. It is time for us to give credit where credit is due. The Committee on Tourism, therefore, humbly requests for the approval of the said measure. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the author, Representative Gloria Macapagal Arroyo from 2nd District of Pampanga.
The Honorable Gloria Macapagal Arroyo is recognized. Please proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, allow me to loosely quote our cultural icon, Roby Tantingo, who is here with us today. To support the chairman of the Committee on Tourism, Congressman Budoy Madrona of Romblon, itself a tourist destination, in his sponsorship to recognize Pampanga as culinary capital of the Philippines. From sprawling farmlands to bright Christmas lanterns, Pampanga always has something to offer. However, if there is one thing that truly embodies the spirit of Pampanga, it is its formidable culinary history. Recognizing Pampanga as a culinary capital will boost the country's culinary tourism industry, which in turn will provide livelihood to many Kapampangans. Here are some of the arguments given by our cultural icons to support Pampanga as culinary capital of the Philippines. First of all, Pampanga is the main tourist attraction. In Pampanga, food is the main tourist attraction. Yes, we have the country's best airport to bring tourists in, world-class hotels to accommodate them, the culture and history to impress them, but it is the food that keeps them coming back for more. Ask anyone who's ever stayed in Pampanga or just made a stopover or attended a conference what he remembers most about Pampanga, and the answer almost always comes in capital letters with 3 exclamation points: the food. Tourists always look for pasalubong, and in Pampanga, they can't make up their minds of the many choices to buy and bring home. Will it be tibok-tibok and San Rival, Turanas de Casoy and San Nicolas? How about a bag of tocino and longanisa, or a packet of pindang damulag, or a box of ensaymada, and a tray of patku, which is our version of crepe, and polvoron? Maybe a bottle of tabang talangka, enjoyed by Congressman Pumarin just today earlier in the South Lounge, or a jar of peanut paste. If it won't smell, they'll get buro as well. And if it won't spoil, pansit lutlug too. Kapampangans are resourceful and creative when it comes to cooking. Mole crickets magically turn into hot cuisine as adobong kamaro, frogs into bitute and tinolang tugak. A pig's brain becomes bistig utak, its ears sisig matuwa, its cheeks tokwat babi, its skin pititian, its hooves and knuckles paksing pata, its tail kari-kari, its lungs pulutok cooked in onions, garlic, and chili peppers, its heart, liver, and kidneys kilayin, and the rest of its entrails tidtad, a saucy twist on dinuguan. In Pampanga, talent in cooking and love for food permeates not just restaurants, but every corner of every home. Kapampangans talk about food all the time. They discuss, dissect, and debate food while it's still being cooked, when they're already eating it, and after they finish clearing the table. Every family member is both an iron chef with an entire household to please, and a food critic with strong opinions of everything other family members cook. The most heavily guarded family heirlooms are not Lola's old love letters, but Lola's secret recipes. Kapampangans saturate Facebook and Instagram with their daily meals. Hashtag my breakfast, hashtag my lunch, hashtag my dinner. And they like showing off their versions of their favorite dish. Not just any asado, but asadong matuwa, meaning old, cooked in tomato sauce and calamansi, instead of the usual asado cooked in sugar, soy sauce, and star anise or 5 spice. Not just any adobo, but adobong maputi, so called because of its clear broth. The absence of soy sauce is responsible for the light color of the dish. If you offer them sisig, as mentioned by our esteemed sponsor, he will specify if it's Aling Lusing sisig, or Trellis sisig, or Milas sisig. And if you treat them to halo-halo, ask first if he prefers rasons, or kabigtings, or susis. Mr. Speaker, Tourists come to the Philippines to see ancient rice terraces, swim in blue lagoons, and walk on white beaches like the one in Carabao Island, the province of our sponsor. But in Pampanga, they come for the food. Kapampangas are already building an entire tourism industry in their cuisine. And I think we will be able to help more the efforts of our beloved Tourism Secretary, Cristina Frasco, as we, the congressmen from Pampanga, ask our colleagues to support the leadership of Chairman Madrona in recognizing Pampanga as the culinary capital of the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our former president. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of interpellation.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there will be no member who wishes to interpellate. I move that we close the period of interpellation.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The period of sponsorship and debate is hereby terminated. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there will be no member who wishes to I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The period of amendments is hereby terminated. Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we vote on second reading of the following House Bill 10634.
There is a motion to approve House Bill number 10634 on second reading. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those against, say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number 10634 is hereby approved on second reading. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and colleagues.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we now proceed with the reference of business and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the titles of the bills and resolutions on first reading as well as communications and committee reports. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on first reading as well as communications committee reports for referral to their appropriate committees.
Reference to business. Bill on first reading. House Bill 10715, providing for the orderly, urgent, and effective execution of actions and decisions involving annulment, dissolution of marriage, legal separation, marriage, birth registration, death registration, and other proceedings affecting the civil registry of LGUs and the PSA, amending the Family Courts Act of 1997 by Representative Guwa.
To the Committee on Population and Family Relations.
Resolutions. House Resolution 1844, congratulating and commending Filipino gymnast Carlos Iriel Yulo for his historic achievements at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris, France, by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Revilla Bryan, and Revilla Ramon Cholo.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1845, congratulating and commending Filipino artistic gymnast Carlos Iriel Pokis Yulo for winning 2 gold medals in the men's artistic gymnastics individual events at the 2024 Olympic Games, by Representative Kong Hoon.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1846, congratulating and honoring Carlos Yulo for winning 2 Olympic gold medals in men's artistic gymnastics at the Paris Olympics held last August 45, 2024, by Representatives Yap Eric and Yap Edvic.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1847, urging the Committees on Human Rights, Dangerous Drugs, and Public Order and Safety to jointly conduct an investigation on the drug-related extrajudicial killings under the bloody war on drugs of the Duterte administration, by Representatives Brosas, Castro France, and Manuel.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1848, congratulating Carlos Iriel P. Yulo for winning the gold medal in men's artistic gymnastics at the Paris 2024 Olympics, by Representative Sakaluran.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1849, commending and congratulating Mr. Carlos Ariel Yulo for winning 2 Olympic gold medals in artistic gymnastics, floor exercise, and vault for the Philippines at the Paris 2024 Olympics by Representative Talyado.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1850, directing the Committee on Public Accounts to conduct an investigation on the alleged misuse of funds and irregularities in the procurement process by the municipality of Silang, Cavite, by Representative Loyola.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1851, congratulating and commending Carlos Iriel Yulo for winning 2 Olympic gold medals in the 2024 Summer Olympics, by Representative Guwa.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1852, honoring the life and legacy of Mother Lily Monteverde and expressing profound condolences and deepest sympathies of the House over her passing, by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Bryan, and Revilla Ramon Jolo.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1853, congratulating and commending Carlos Iriel Yulo for his exceptional performance in the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, winning 2 gold medals in gymnastics, by Representative Puno.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1854, congratulating and commending Carlos Iriel Yulo for winning in the 2024 Paris Olympics, by Representative Gomez.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1855, congratulating and commending Carlos Iriel Yulo for winning gold medal in the men's floor exercise event at the 2024 Paris Olympics, by Representative Prieto.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1856, congratulating and commending Carlos Iriel Yulo for winning gold medal in the vault event at the 2024 Paris Olympics, by Representative Prieto.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1857, congratulating Carlos Iriel Yulo for winning the gold medal for the men's floor exercises and the men's vault at the 2024 Olympics, by Representative Reyes.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1858, congratulating and commending Carlos Iriel Poquiz Yulo for bringing pride, honor, and glory to the Philippines by winning 2 gold medals in the artistic gymnastics, floor exercise, and vault competitions in the recent 2024 Olympic Games, by Representative Lara.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1859, honoring and recognizing the art and legacy of National Living Treasure Magdalena Nanadaleng Gamayo on her 100th birth anniversary on August 13, 2024, by Representative Barba.
To the Special Committee on Creative Industries.
House Resolution 1860, honoring the 110th anniversary of the Iglesia Ni Cristo and commending Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, INC Executive Minister, for his leadership, by Representative Barba.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1861, commending and congratulating Carlos Iriel Poquiz Yulo for his historic achievement as the 2nd Filipino to win an Olympic gold medal and the 1st Filipino athlete to obtain a consecutive gold medal feat in gymnastics at the 2024 Paris Olympics, by Representative Barba.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1862, recognizing and commending Carlos Yulo for winning 2 gold medals in the Paris 2024 Olympics, floor exercise, and vault competitions, by Representative Espares.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1863, congratulating and commending Carlos Iriel Poquiz Yulo for winning double gold medals in the Paris Olympics 2024, by Representative Cari.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1864, congratulating and conferring the Congressional Medal of Excellence to Carlos Iriel P. Yulo for winning 2 gold medals for the Philippines in the men's artistic gymnastics floor exercise finals and vault apparatus finals during the 2024 Paris Summer Olympics held in Bercy Arena, Paris, France, by Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Gonzales Aurelio, Suarez, Dalipe, Dribanan, Marcos, Romualdez Yeda Marie, and Asidre.
To the Committee on Rules.
Resolution of both Houses Number 8 proposing amendments to Section 7, Article 6 of the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, seeking to extend the term of office of the members of the House, by Representative Barba.
To the Committee on Constitutional Amendments.
Message from the Senate. Message dated August 1st, 2024, informing the House of Representatives that on July 31st, 2024, the Senate approved the Conference Committee report on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill 221 and House Bill 7325 on the proposed Magna Carta of Filipino seafarers.
To the Committee on Rules.
Communications. Letter dated May 10, 2024 of the BIR Commissioner submitting to the House of Representatives a copy of their consolidated monthly report of disbursements for the month of April 2024.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
Letter dated May 17, 2024 of the DBM Secretary submitting to the House copies of preliminary reports of the status of fiscal year 2023 budget as of December 31st, 2023.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated May 23, 2024 of the COA Audit Team 5, Regional Office 5, transmitting to the House a copy of their annual audit report on the Partido State University, Goa Camarines Sur for the year ending December 31st, 2023 in CD format.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letter dated May 7, 2024 of the COA Audit Team 3, Regional Office 5, transmitting to the House a copy of their management letter on the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Pili Camarines Sur for the year ending December 31st, 2023 in CD format.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letter dated May 28, 2024 of the COA Chairperson, furnishing the House with copies of their annual audit reports and management letters on certain government corporations.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letters dated May 28 and 29, 2024 of the COA Regional Director, Regional Office 6A, furnishing the House with copies of their annual audit reports of the University of Rizal System and Philippine High School for the Arts for the year ending December 31st, 2023.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letter dated May 31st, 2024 of the PIDEA OIC Assistant Secretary, submitting to the House a copy of their operational accomplishment and assessment report for April 2024.
To the Committee on Dangerous Drugs.
Letter dated June 18, 2024 of the BSP Office of the General Counsel and Legal Services, transmitting to the House a duly certified copy of Memorandum M-2024-018 dated 13 of June 2024.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
Consolidated Annual Audit Report of the Philippine Rice Research Institute for the years ending December 31st, 2022 and December 31st, 2023.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Annual Audit Report of the Don Honorio Ventura State University for the year ending December 31st, 2023.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Annual Audit Reports for the year ending December 31st, 2023 on certain water districts.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Various communications submitted to the House of Representatives by officials of local government units relative to their posting and reporting requirements of the fund utilization and status of program project implementation of the Local Government Support Fund as attested by their respective local chief executives.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Committee reports. Committee Report 1153 submitted by the Committees on Climate Change, Foreign Affairs and Ways and Means on House Bill 10722. Committee Report 1154 submitted by the Committee on Ways and Means on House Bill 10723.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to recognize the visitors of Representative Maximo Y. Dalog Jr. of the Lone District of Mountain Province, namely Mayor Clark C. Ngaya of the Municipality of Barlig, Mayor Bryn O. Bakwaden of the Municipality of Besao, Mayor Constito S. Masweng of the Municipality of Tadian, and Mayor Jerome B. Tudlog Jr. of the Municipality of Bondoc.
To the guests of our Honorable Congressman, welcome to the House of Representatives. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may I respectfully request the following municipal councilor and members of the Triskelion fraternity from the local government of Pagsanghan, Pakil, and Kalayaan, Laguna as the guests of Deputy Majority Leader Jose Bonteves Jr. and Assistant Majority Leader Richard Gomez. They are the following: Councilor Ronnie Leron, Councilor Noel Cabela, Councilor Dennis Gonzalez, Councilor Carmi Baksafra, Councilor Vlacheslav Martinez, Councilor Veli Kabamalan, and Barangay Captain Frank De Mesa.
To the guest of Congressman Teves and Congressman Gomez, welcome to the House of Representatives. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, under the calendar of business for the day, move to consider House Bill number 10524 under Committee Report number 1110, and may we request the Secretary General to read the title of the measure.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill number 10524.
House Bill 10524, an act modifying the grounds for substitution of candidates, amending for the purpose Section 77 of Batas Pambansa Bilang 8821, otherwise known as the Omnibus Election Code of the Philippines.
Thank you very much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to open the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the chairperson of Suffrage and Electoral Reforms, Representative Maximo Y. Dalog Jr., to sponsor the measure.
Representative Dalog is recognized to sponsor the measure. Please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to address a critical issue that strikes at the heart of our democratic process: the use of placeholders for candidacies, only to be substituted at the last minute by another individual after the original candidate's withdrawal. This undermines the integrity of our electoral system and erodes the trust of the public in our democratic institutions. House Bill number 10524 proposes to modify the grounds for substitution of candidates by removing withdrawal as a ground for substitution of candidates and adds permanent incapacity as a valid ground for substitution. These provisions serve as a safeguard against manipulation and abuse of the electoral process. If enacted, it will prevent unscrupulous individuals from exploiting loopholes in the system to advance their own interests at the expense of transparency and fairness, promotes accountability, representation, and informed choice. House Bill number 10524 is a clear message that our democracy is not for sale, and that the interests of the people must always come before the ambitions of a few individuals seeking to game the system for their own benefit. I trust that this honorable chamber will see the wisdom and promise of this bill. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to recognize the author of the measure, Representative Maria Victoria Copilar of the 6th District of Quezon City.
The Honorable Copilar is recognized. Please proceed.
To our dear Speaker, to fellow honorable representatives, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow citizens, the cornerstone of democracy is the trust that its citizens place in the electoral system. This trust is built on transparency, fairness, adherence to the rule of law. When candidates successfully manipulate and deceive the last vestige of democracy, this foundation is undermined, leading to a loss of confidence in the very processes that define our society. Thus, together with our chairman of the Committee on Suffrage, Honorable Maximo Dalog, I am here before you today to introduce and advocate for a crucial piece of legislation that aims to uphold the integrity of our electoral process: the bill prohibiting the substitution of candidate by reason of withdrawal. Batas Pambansa Bilang 8821, also known as the Omnibus Election Code, allows political parties to change their candidates before the election under 3 conditions: death, disqualification, or withdrawal of a candidate. This substitution provision enshrined in Section 77 of the Code is acknowledgement of the importance of our party system and political parties. Hence, substitution is a privilege granted to political parties but not to individual candidates, and accorded to candidates of political parties but not to independent candidates. However, the act of withdrawing one's candidacy has been repeatedly misused over time, resulting in a disregard for the importance of meeting deadlines and adhering to compliance standards. Marami sa ating mamamayan na ang tingin nila dito ay hayagang pagyurak sa proseso ng certification of candidacy at ng buong proseso ng halalan. Sa mga nakaraang eleksyon, naging popular ang substitution of candidate, hindi lamang para sa mga lokal na posisyon, maging sa national positions. May mga politikong nagpapatakbo ng kandidato bilang placeholder sa pwestong nais nilang takbuhan. Ilan sa mga kadahilan na ay una, para iwasan ang mga requirements at deadline na itinakda ng COMELEC, katulad na lamang ng residency requirement. Dahil sa araw ng filing ng candidacy, hindi pa nila nabubuo ang itinakdang haba ng pamamalagi sa kanilang bayan. Saka sila maglalagay ng placeholder na kandidato na pwede na nilang palitan sa panahong mabuo na ang required residency ng tunay na kandidato. Meron din ginagamit ang substitution bilang estratehiya upang magkaroon ng unfair advantage sa kanilang kalaban o di kaya manipula ang tingin ng mamamayan. Maghihintay ng mailabas ang kabilang partido o kandidato ng kanilang baraha o resources habang nakapagplano at nakaabang ang makikipag-substitute. This kind of practice is not just a violation but spirit of fair and honest election. It is a betrayal of public trust. Ang House Bill 10524 ay naglalayo na itama ang direktang paglalamang at pagpapaikot sa ating batas, panghalalan sa pamamagitan ng pagbabawal sa pagpapalit ng kandidato by reason of withdrawal o pag-urong ng kandidato, habang itinatakda naman ang permanent incapacity bilang panibagong kondisyon para sa pagpapalit ng mga kandidato. By passing this bill, we reaffirm our commitment to fair and just electoral process. We send a clear message that manipulation and underhanded tactics have no place in our democracy. Moreover, we protect the rights of the voters to choose their representatives freely and fairly. I urge all to consider the importance of this legislation. Let us work together to safeguard the principles that underpin our democratic process. Let us ensure that our election reflects the true will of the people, untainted by deceit and manipulation. Elections are the lifeblood of democracy. Its sanctity ensures that every voice is heard and every vote counts. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to for your support in passing this vital bill.
Thank you very much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, move to suspend consideration of House Bill number 10524.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to consider House Bill number 8657 under Committee Report number 1100, and may we ask the Secretary General to read the title of the measure.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill number 8657.
House Bill number 8657, an act providing for the protection of geographical indications for agricultural or natural, unprocessed or wild products, processed products, wines and spirits, or any products of handicraft or industry.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, move to open the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, move to recognize Representative Ferginel G. Beron of the 4th District of Iloilo, the chairman of the Committee on Trade and Industry, to begin sponsorship of the measure.
The Honorable Biron is recognized to sponsor the measure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my esteemed colleagues in the House of Representatives, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Committee on Trade and Industry, I have the honor and privilege to sponsor House Bill number 8657, entitled An Act Providing for the Protection of Geographical Indications for Agricultural or Natural Products, Processed Products, Wines and Spirits, or any products of handicraft or industry, in consolidation with House Bill number 531. To be known as the Protective Geographical Indications Act, House Bill number 8657 seeks to promote the competitive advantage of agricultural and industrial products with unique quality, reputation, or characteristics that are essentially attributable to their geographic origin, thereby facilitating local and foreign market access and recognition. At the same time, it aims to protect consumers from misleading and substandard products that pose as truly Filipino-made. Given these twin objectives, House Bill number 8657 mandates the establishment of a scheme for protected geographical indications in order to help producers of products linked to a geographical area by ensuring uniform protection of the product's geographical indication as an intellectual property right. This proposed system shall prescribe, regulate, or manage the procedures related to the registration of geographical indications, thereby protecting geographical indications in unfair competition procedures and safeguarding producers from anti-competitive practices in the registration and use of geographical indications. Likewise, under House Bill number 8657, generic terms shall not be registered as protected geographical indications. By the same token, protected geographical indications may be used by any operator marketing a product conforming to its corresponding specifications. In this regard, a national logo designed to publicize protected geographical indications shall be established. The Bureau of Trademarks of the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines shall constitute a national logo to certify all registered geographical indication goods in the Philippines. The enhanced protection afforded under House Bill number 8657 to any indication constituting a geographical indication shall be obtained through valid registration and a certificate issued to that effect by the Bureau of Trademarks. Moreover, registered geographical indications shall be protected against the following: any direct or indirect commercial use of a registered name with respect to products not covered by the registration where those products are comparable to the products registered or where using the name exploits the reputation of the unprotected name, including when those products are used as an ingredient. Any misuse, imitation, or evocation, even if the true origin of the products or services is indicated, or if the protected name is translated or accompanied by an expression such as style, type, method, as produced in, imitation, or similar, including when those products are used as an ingredient. Any other false or misleading indication as to the provenance, origin, nature, or essential qualities of the product that is used on the inner or outer packaging, advertising material, or documents relating to the product concerned, and the packing of the product in a container tending to convey a false impression as to its origin. Any use of geographical indication which constitutes an act of unfair competition within the meaning of Article 10 BIS of the Paris Convention, and any other practice that tends to mislead the consumer as to the true origin of the product. Further, House Bill number 8657, which places geographical indications under the ambit and authority of the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, or IPOPHIL, also prescribes the requisites for the registration of geographical indications, including applications, representation, qualifications, requirements, and proof of geographical indication, protection from foreign countries, and the payment of the required fee. The following names, however, cannot be registered as a geographical indication: those which are contrary to laws and regulations, public order, public policy, or morality; geographical indications of a foreign country which are not or have ceased to be protected in their country or territory of origin; those which mislead or deceive the public as to the characteristic, nature, quality, place of origin, production, process of the good, and or its use; those which consist exclusively of or identical with a generic, common, or customary name of the goods in the Philippines, and the geographical indication sought to be registered will be applied for the same goods; those which are identical with or confusingly similar to the name of a plant variety or animal breed and is likely to mislead the consumer as to the true origin of the goods; those which do not fall within the prescribed definition of geographical indication; and finally, those which are identical with or confusingly similar to or an evocation of an earlier filed or registered geographic indication in the Philippines, or in a treaty or international agreement of which the Philippines is a member in respect of the same goods or closely related goods as to cause confusion. Finally, House Bill number 8657 enumerates specific grounds for the cancellation of the geographical indication and imposes the criminal penalty of imprisonment and fines independent of the civil and administrative sanctions imposed by law. Mr. Speaker, I have no doubt that our collective wisdom and commitment will guide us towards laying the foundation for a future where our locally produced food products, foodstuffs, handicrafts, wines, and spirits will thrive in a world that recognizes and celebrates their unique character. In this regard, I therefore enjoin the entire House of Representatives to act swiftly and favorably, leading to the immediate passage of House Bill 8657. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of interpellation.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no member who wishes to interpellate, I move that we close the period of interpellation.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The period of sponsorship and debate is hereby terminated. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt the committee amendments introduced under Committee Report 1100.
Is there any objections to adopt the committee amendments? Chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there will be no individual who wishes to introduce amendments. I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The period of amendments is hereby closed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we vote the second reading of the following House Bill 8657 as amended.
Thank you. There is a motion to approve House Bill number 8657 on second reading. All those in favor, please say aye. All those against, say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number 8657 is hereby approved on second reading as amended. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session for a minute.
Session is suspended. Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Tony Pit Albano.
Deputy Speaker Albano is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the indulgence of the Majority Floor Leader, we have a special guest here in the plenary today. It is very fitting that the Lakas Party, especially with the instructions of Speaker Martin Romualdez, to put here on record our guests, namely the Mayor of Manila herself, Mayor Maria Hani Sheila Lacuna Pangan is here with us. Maybe we can recognize her. And of course, her partner, the Vice Mayor Yul Servo Nieto, who is also our colleague in the last Congress. Please remain standing, ma'am, and our Vice Mayor.
To the guest of our Honorable
And
Speaker.
Also, Speaker, with them, the 21 strong councilors of Manila are here to be recognized, Mr. Speaker.
To the guest of our Honorable Speaker, Martin Romualdez, the Mayor of Manila, Mayor Hani Lacuna Pangan, and my former colleague, Vice Mayor Yul Nieto, and the City Council of Manila. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to acknowledge the following guest of Honorable Rosemary Cañejos Panotes from Municipality of Dayat, Camarines Norte. Punong Barangay Priscilla Avila, Kagawad Luisito Lipnica, Kagawad Luis Urbano, Kagawad Alan Talento, Kagawad Naing Imperial, Kagawad Dennis Avillana, Kagawad Melinda Castillo, Kagawad Jonas Amparo, and Kagawad Bong Saison.
To the guest of the Honorable Rosemary Panotes, welcome to the House of Representatives.
Mr. Speaker.
The Chair would like to suspend session for a few minutes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Your Honor. How are you? Ano? Yes, correct. How are you? Ito pa rin. Tal, I'll go ahead. Manifest. Gas, ano nga? Para meron ako nakaka-campaign din naman kita sa atin. Kailan mo natatalo doon? Kailan mo natatalo doon? Basta kilala ko yung presidente doon. Pangito. Doon. Ito naman. Saka dahil ko pinagawa ron eh. Kaya mahal na mahal kong good deal eh. Kasi doon ang asawa ko.
Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, under the calendar of business for the day, I move that we consider House Resolution number 1880 under Committee Report number 1157. May I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the resolution?
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Resolution 1880.
House Resolution 1880, resolution authorizing the four committees, namely the Committees on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights and Public Accounts to conduct a joint investigation in aid of legislation relative to the measures such as House resolutions and privileged speeches referred to the mentioned committees, including motu proprio investigations.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution number 1880.
There is a motion to adopt House Resolution 1880. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution number 1880 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to our rules governing inquiries in aid of legislation, I move to refer the following speeches to the appropriate committees. The speech of Representative Zamora, delivered on July 29, 2024, to the Committee on Disaster Resilience. The speech of Representative Acharon, delivered on July 29, 2024, to the Committees on Transportation and Sustainable Development Goals. The speech of Representative Go, delivered on July 30, 2024, to the Committee on Tourism. The speech of Representative Erwin Tulfo, delivered on July 30, 2024, to the Committee on Health. The speech of Representative Gonzales, delivered on August 5, 2024, to the Committees on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights, and Public Accounts. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection to the motion of the Majority Leader? The chair hears none. The speeches of the aforementioned representatives are hereby referred to the aforementioned committees. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the change of referral of the following measures. House Resolution number 1163 from the Committee on Energy to the Committees on Legislative Franchises and Energy. House Resolution number 1346 from the Committee on Dangerous Drugs to the Committees on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights, and Public Accounts. House Resolution number 1351 from the Committee on Dangerous Drugs to the Committees on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights, and Public Accounts. House Resolution number 14 from the Committee on Human Rights to the Committees on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights, and Public Accounts. And the speech delivered by Representative Castro on November 8, 2023, from the Committee on Human Rights to the Committees on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights, and Public Accounts. Motu proprio inquiry from the Committee on Public Accounts to the Committees on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights, and Public Accounts. And motu proprio inquiry on the proliferation of criminal activities and unlawful acts linked to Philippine offshore gaming operations, or POGOs, from the Committees on Public Order and Safety and Games and Amusements to the Committees on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights, and Public Accounts. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection to the motion of the Majority Leader with respect to the change of referral for certain measures? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the House and the Senate have approved on the third reading House Bill number 6717 and the Senate Bill number 2457, respectively, on suspending the implementation of the use of mother tongue as the medium instruction of kindergarten to grade 3. We have been informed that the Committee on Basic Education and Culture, sponsor of House Bill number 6717, as well as the authors thereof, is in concurrence with the provision of House Bill number 2457. With this information and in accordance with our rules, I move that we adopt Senate Bill number 2457 as an amendment to the House Bill number 6717.
There is a motion to adopt Senate Bill number 2457 as an amendment to the House Bill number 6717. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Senate Bill number 2457 is adopted as an amendment to House Bill number 6717. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to designate the following members: the Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Provision of House Bill number 8468 and Senate Bill number 2514 on institutionalizing the Philippine National Games, Representative Faustino Michael Carlos, TD, Representative Richard I. Gomez, Representative Eric Buhain, Representative Eric M. Martinez, Representative Emigdio P. Tanhuatco, Representative Gus Tambunting, and Representative Raul Daniel Manuel.
There is a motion by the Majority Leader to designate the aforementioned members to the Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Provisions of House Bill number 8468 and Senate Bill number 2514 on institutionalizing the Philippine National Games. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to acknowledge the guest of Representative Danilo Ramon Fernandez from Lone District of Santa Rosa, Laguna, for the following visitors from the municipality of Nagcarlan, Laguna: Honorable Ray Comendador, Attorney Ron Erwin Escovel, former Mayor Honorable Lourdes Arcasitas, Mr. Rian Pionella Jr., Mr. Wilfredo Angeles Jr., Mr. Gary Garingade, Mr. Brian Escovel, Mr. Mark Cedric Coronado, Mr. Morris T. Coronado, Mr. Edelberto Sotuya, Ms. Charlotte Barba, Mr. Armandito Abina, Honorable Joseph Bueta, Honorable Philip Asistido, Honorable Noel Uriza, Honorable Efren Pasco, Honorable Jason Angtangco, Honorable Rinaldo Senin, Honorable Annalyn Concebido, Honorable Frank Dado, Honorable Alfredo Abelera, Honorable Hermes Albarico, Honorable Ariel Escobel, Honorable Arcelito Islita, Honorable Ina Cueto, Benita Catahan, Cecilia Montigudo, Oliver Di Campo, Clarice Arnoco, Lauricia Orencia, Juan C. Arsenia Jr., Maria Cristina Cabuyao, Villader Coligado, Julius Pisuena, Apolino Solte, Remedios Arapan, and Larry Borgonos.
To the guest of the Honorable Dan Fernandez from the municipality of Nagcarlan, Laguna, welcome to the House of Representatives. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the guests of Majority Leader Wilter Palma of the 1st District of Zamboanga Sibugay and Representative Rodolfo Ordonez of the Senior Citizens Party List, namely Yuki Mizukami, Aya Matsuda, Hiroki Deguchi, Ryoki Saito, Masato Okeya, and Masaru Toyota.
To the guest of Deputy Majority Leader Wilter Palma and Representative Ordonez, welcome to the House of Representatives. Thank you for your visit. Majority Leader.
Motion to suspend, Mr. Speaker.
Session suspended. Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, under the calendar of business for the day, I move for the consideration of House Bill number 10722 under Committee Report number 1153, and for such purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill number 10722.
House Bill number 10722, an act granting juridical personality and legal capacity to the Board of the Fund for responding to loss and damage due to climate change.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to open the period of sponsorship and debate and request that the chairperson of the Committee on Climate Change, Representative Edgar M. Chato of the 1st District of Bohol, to be recognized to deliver his sponsorship speech.
Is there any objection to the motion of the Majority Leader? Chair hears none. Motion is approved, and the Chair of the Committee, Representative Chato, is recognized to deliver his sponsorship speech.
Mr. Speaker, our dear colleagues, good afternoon. Our country suffers an average annual loss of 0.54% in GDP, or $3.2 billion every year due to climate change. The DOF reported that economic losses due to climate hazards between 2010 and 2020 reached $506.1 billion, or approximately $10 billion, which shows our country's extreme vulnerability to the impacts of climate change, despite the fact that we contribute only 0.3% to the planet's total greenhouse gas emissions. As a Boholano, I have been a personal witness to the massive devastation wrought by Typhoon Odette, which made 9 landfalls before the end of 2021, leaving behind in its wake 11 affected regions, including ours, with 405 deaths and 11 billion damage to agriculture alone. And who can ever forget 2013 Super Typhoon Yolanda, or Haiyan, which hit our speaker's home province, sustaining winds of more than 150 miles per hour and left 6,300 Filipinos dead, and drove 2.3 million more into poverty. But aside from the sudden onset events like Odette and Yolanda, our country also needs to deal with slow onset events like increasing temperatures, like the El Nino we experienced recently, loss of biodiversity, drought, ocean acidification, and sea level rise. This concept is also not abstract to me, inasmuch as a municipality within my district, the town of Tubigon, is prone to sea level rise, and as a result of the climate change. This is the reason why I have worked with Congressman Kiko Benitez, chairperson of the Committee on Housing and Urban Development, to get additional funding for the site development of a resettlement area in the mainland of Tubigon for those who will have to be evacuated from the island of Tubigon. Fortunately, we were able to get 50 million from the NHA for this particular purpose. And that is why I welcome the positive news brought by our committee members who attended COP27 in Egypt in 2022, that parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or UNFCCC, agreed to establish the Loss and Damage Fund for assisting developing countries affected by climate change. This was bolstered by the good news brought by our colleagues who attended COP28 in Dubai in 2023, that the parties to the UNFCCC finally agreed to operationalize Loss and Damage Fund, and that pledges amounting to $661.39 million have been made by developed countries to the fund. In the same conference, the Philippines secured a seat in the board as permanent representative of the Asia-Pacific Group for 2024 and 2026, and as alternate representative of the Asia Pacific Group for 2025. But the best news came last July 9, when we learned that the Philippines won the bid to host the Loss and Damage Fund, the board itself, besting 7 other countries also. And hosting the board and gaining a seat at its table will help ensure that our small voice will be heard against the noise of other competing voices in pushing for an appropriate response to the loss and damage incurred due to climate change, particularly ours. Now, the task of providing an enabling law that will confer legal personality and capacity to the board has fallen into this august chamber. The President, in his official statement, said that the measure is to be given high and utmost priority and to be undertaken no later than 90 days from the date that we won the bid. And so, we have our work cut out for us today to make sure that the Philippines delivers on our commitment to host the Loss and Damage Fund Board, ensuring that, first, the board is accorded legal personality and capacity, where it can enjoy certain privileges and immunities. And second, that the conferment of legal personality and capacity, including the grant of privileges and immunities, shall be undertaken not only through an enabling law, but through a treaty as well, which will come in the form of a host country agreement to be ratified by the President as head of state, and to be concurred in by at least 2/3 of the Senate members. We are doing this not to blind obeisance to the wishes of the executive branch, but in full recognition that the country stands to benefit immensely from hosting the Loss and Damage Fund Board, and as a tribute to the Philippine officials and climate warriors who have led various climate processes in the past and in the present. And for these reasons, Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, I respectfully urge the swift approval of our substitute bill given the tight deadline that was given to us. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Representative Maria Rachel Arenas of the 3rd District of Pangasinan to deliver her sponsorship speech.
The Honorable Arenas is recognized. Please proceed.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, today I stand with a profound sense of duty and urgency to present the proposed Loss and Damage Fund Board Act. This vital legislation seeks to grant juridical personality, legal capacity, and essential privileges and immunities to the Loss and Damage Fund Board, which I am proud to announce will be hosted right here in the Philippines. This monumental achievement, where we triumphed over 7 other candidates, marks a new era in our nation's commitment to a climate-resilient future. The Philippines has long been on the front lines of the climate crisis. Our nation has faced unprecedented challenges with devastating impacts that have tested our resilience time and again. Several typhoons struck our shores with unrelenting fury, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. We witnessed lives lost, homes destroyed, and livelihoods shattered. The cries of our people resonate deeply within us, echoing a call to action that we cannot ignore. The increasing frequency and intensity of these natural disasters underscore the pressing need for robust and effective climate action. The Loss and Damage Fund is a beacon of hope for vulnerable nations like ours. Hosting the board will provide us with much-needed access to resources to address the unavoidable and irreversible impacts of climate change. By establishing ourselves as a key player in the global climate arena, we will attract international expertise and partnerships that will further strengthen our resilience and adaptive capacity. We must take every possible step to secure and maximize the benefits of this fund for our people. In 2022, the global community, recognizing the dire need to address loss and damage from climate change, established the Loss and Damage Fund at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The operationalization of this fund in 2023 during COP28 was a historic milestone. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., with unparalleled foresight and leadership, declared the Philippines' intent to host the Loss and Damage Fund Board. This bold declaration signified their commitment to not merely be victims of climate change, but to rise as proactive leaders in global climate resilience. The establishment of the LDF marked a significant advancement in the international community's efforts to support countries most affected by climate change. By hosting the LDF board, we are positioning the Philippines as the forefront of these global efforts, similar to countries like Germany and South Korea hosting other climate change funds. This is not just a symbolic gesture, it is a testament to our determination to lead the charge in addressing the climate crisis. The Philippines, through its strategic leadership and unwavering commitment, will play a crucial role in shaping the policies and frameworks that will govern this vital fund. As one of the sponsors of this bill and chair of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, I have committed to this cause by campaigning for a bid in my international engagements. I also issued a statement supporting the executive decision, emphasizing our readiness and the immense benefits this will bring to our nation and the world. Together with the efforts of the Committee on Climate Change, chaired by Representative Edgar Chato, and the Committee on Ways and Means, chaired by Representative Joey Salceda, and fellow authors of House Bill 10722, we were able to expeditiously pass this measure with the following salient provisions. Juridical personality and legal capacity. The board will be granted full legal personality and capacity to contract, acquire, and dispose of property, institute legal proceedings, negotiate, and conclude hosting arrangements with the World Bank, among other functions. The privileges and immunities. The board will enjoy independence and freedom and the necessary privileges and immunities under the host country agreement to ensure its effective operation. Tax exemptions. The property, operations, and transactions of the fund and its board will be exempt from all taxes, duties, and other charges imposed by the government, ensuring smooth and unhindered operations. The journey towards the passage of this measure has been fueled by the belief that the Philippines, despite its vulnerabilities, can offer unparalleled insights and leadership in the global fight against climate change. Let us not forget the countless individuals and organizations who have supported this endeavor. I extend my deepest gratitude to President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. for his visionary leadership, to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Department of Finance and Department of Budget and Management, and the Climate Change Commission, and other government agencies for the relentless efforts in securing this hosting bid. Your hard work has not gone unnoticed, and today we celebrate this collective victory. The collaboration and commitment shown by all involved parties have been nothing short of inspiring. Their advocacy, expertise, and unwavering belief in the Philippines have been instrumental in our success. This collective achievement is a testament to what we can accomplish when we unite for a common cause. It is a reminder that our strength lies in our solidarity and that by working together, we can overcome even the most daunting challenges. Honorable colleagues, the Loss and Damage Fund Board Act is a crucial step towards a resilient future. It embodies our commitment to global solidarity and climate justice. It is an opportunity for the Philippines to lead by example, demonstrating cooperation in the face of one of the greatest challenges of our time. This bill is not just about legal provisions, it is about our collective responsibility to safeguard our nation's future and that of the world. Let us rise to this occasion and secure a sustainable future for generations to come. I ask you to support the immediate passage of the Loss and Damage Fund Board Act. Together, let us turn our vulnerabilities into strengths and lead the way in global climate resilience. Let us move forward with courage and conviction, knowing that our actions today will shape a better tomorrow for the Philippines and the rest of the world. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we recognize the author of the bill, the Honorable Representative Ana Victoria Veloso Tuazon of the 3rd District of the Province of Leyte, to deliver her sponsorship speech.
Representative Veloso Tuazon is recognized. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my honor and privilege to sponsor House Bill 10722 for consideration by this august body. In addition to what has been pointed out, the following points are also worth noting. First, loss and damage is described under the 6th Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report as the adverse effects of climate change that cannot or have not been avoided through climate change adaptation or mitigation, or are unavoidable because the limits of adaptation have been reached. Loss and damage can be differentiated as economic or quantified in monetary terms through asset loss valuation, damage to infrastructure, or decline in agricultural production, or non-economic, which is actually harder to quantify or attach a monetary value to, and as such, go unreported. And these are some examples of these are cultural heritage, ecosystem services, and traditional knowledge. It occurs through slow onset events such as sea level rise and ocean acidification, and extreme weather events such as floods, droughts, and heat waves. While loss and damage is addressed in Article 8 of the Paris Agreement, the context for it in which it is used does not involve or provide a basis for any liability or compensation. And it is for this reason that the whereas clause in the governing instrument operationalizing the new funding arrangements focus on funding arrangements that are based on cooperation and facilitation and do not involve liability or compensation. As such, the fund is mandated to address loss and damage to assist developing countries that are particularly vulnerable to the adverse effects of climate change in responding to economic and non-economic loss and damage associated with the adverse effects of climate change, including extreme weather events and slow onset events. We are here, Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, to build on the global climate finance architecture that saw historic progress during the Conference of Parties 27, which saw the establishment of the Loss and Damage Funding Facility to support vulnerable countries dealing with the effects of climate change, and Conference of Parties 28, which operationalized the Loss and Damage Fund, and where the Philippines thereafter successfully secured a board seat held by former Finance Undersecretary Attorney Mark Joven. In his letter for Solidarity for a Green World, Conference of Parties 29 President-designate Mukhtar Babayev reminds us that to protect vulnerable communities who stand to lose the most from the climate crisis, mechanisms for financial support are essential, and we must act without delay. We need all hands on deck to make real progress and focus on our moral duty and collective interest to confront the climate crisis. We stand on the shoulders of climate warriors who have led and continue to champion climate action for developing countries and the whole world. After His Excellency, our President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. announced the Philippines' offer to host the Loss and Damage Fund as it was being operationalized at the Conference of Parties, we saw how DENR Secretary Tony Yulo Loizaga, as official representative of the President, led the whole of government effort that had the Climate Change Commission, the Department of Environment of Natural Resources, the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Department of Finance, and the different departments of and government agencies buckling down to work on the Philippines' candidature and selection. We were elated when the G77 climate negotiator, Attorney Vicente Yu, broke the news on July 9, 2024, to our Philippine delegation at the SB60 that the Philippines was selected to be the host country of the Loss and Damage Fund Board at the LDFB meeting in Songdo. Deputy Permanent Representative to the UN, Ambassador Leila Laura Santos, perhaps said it best. She cited the long-standing active engagement and leadership of the Philippines in climate action for the past 20 years or so. And she said that our reputation and credibility as climate warriors have contributed to the vote in our favor. So we should recognize all Philippine officials who have led various climate processes in the past and present. Richard Sherman of South Africa, co-chair of the board of the fund, also responding to the news that the Philippines was selected, said that with the Philippines win, loss and damage is returning home. For these reasons, distinguished colleagues, as we strive to shape multilateral decision-making, I respectfully urge swift passage of House Bill number 10722 to ensure alignment with the Philippines' bid for board hosting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we open the period of interpellation.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Raul Daniel Manuel for his interpellation.
Representative Manuel is recognized to interpolate.
Magandang hapon, Mr. Speaker. Would the sponsor be willing to answer a few clarificatory questions about this bill? Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for the enlightenment also of fellow members of the House, in brief, bakit po nabuo in the first place ang isang loss and damage fund?
We've seen catastrophic events happening around the world, and it was clear that the Fund for Adaptation and Mitigation wasn't enough. So a third pillar, the loss and damage, had to be set aside also to answer for the needs of the vulnerable communities in developing countries.
So, ibig sabihin, Mr. Speaker, maliban dito, meron pang ibang fund sources na pwede ding i-access ng mga developing countries. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, so far, merong mga pledges yung mga developed countries dun sa Loss and Damage Fund. Ngayon, Mr. Speaker, masasabi ba natin na at this point in time ay sapat na ang na-pledge ng mga developed countries sa pondo na iyon?
No, Mr. Speaker. They've only pledged $661 million and we actually need funds in the billions.
Mr. Speaker, do we have a figure if this is so far the total in terms of the pledges that we have, magkano po ba talaga dapat ang kailangan para masabi natin na meron tayong sapat na funding for the Loss and Damage Fund?
Mr. Speaker, I'm trying to recall, but I remember it being said that we needed at least $1 billion, maybe $1 billion, $2 billion, but definitely more than what's been pledged.
So, ibig sabihin, Mr. Speaker, parang kung sa isang balde pa ay drops pa lang talaga yung nape-pledge doon sa pondo na iyon. So, big sabihin, Mr. Speaker, all the more na tayo as representatives of our country, kung gagana na yung board at pwede na i-access yung fund, bahagi din talaga ng magiging trabaho natin ay yung pag-call on dun sa mga bansa na dapat ay mag-pledge na taasan talaga at mag-commit para makita natin yung the first place, yung purpose at ma-achieve yung purpose ng pondo na ito. Would our sponsor agree to that?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague. I think by hosting actually the fund here, they will be able to see for themselves the amount of need that the Philippines, and this is mirrored in the rest of developing countries, actually need to be able to access from the fund.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Kasunod po, sino na ang mga bubuo or if na-constitute na po, sino ang mga bumubuo nitong board ng Loss and Damage Fund?
Mr. Speaker, under the governing instrument, the board is composed of 26 members. So there are 12 from developed countries, 3 from African states, 3 from Asia-Pacific states, and the Philippines has been chosen as one of them. 3 members from Latin America and Caribbean states, 2 members from small island developing states, 2 members from the least developed countries, and 1 member from a developing country who's not included in the regional groups previously mentioned.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, ano ang magiging duties ng Philippine government kapag naisabatas na po natin ang House Bill 10722 in relation to the Loss and Damage Fund Board?
I'm not sure if please correct me if I need to refine the answer further. But once we pass this into law, we will then, the board will then have legal personality to contract with our government for a host country agreement, which will then be ratified by the Senate with 2/3 vote of its members. This is the two-step process that our president relayed to as part of the offer that the Philippines made to host the fund.
Mr. Speaker, does this also mean na dahil tayo ang host ng board, halimbawa pati ba yung physical na mga activities, for example, if ever they will hold meetings, ganyan, does that also become part of our role as host of the board?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, the board will be meeting here in the Philippines on the designated dates. And along with their meetings, we will need to make sure that they can function independently and serve the objectives and purpose of the fund and steer the fund's operations.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, since the Philippines will have one of the seats mula sa Asia-Pacific region, sino po mula sa Pilipinas ang upo dun sa Loss and Damage Fund Board?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, we are presently represented by Attorney Mark Dennis Hoven.
Okay. And ano po ang current na position in government ng nabanggit po na pangalan?
He was a former Undersecretary of Finance.
Okay. Next, Mr. Speaker, in terms of the fund itself, sino po or anong entity ang hahawak ng pondo na na-pool for the Loss and Damage Fund?
The funds, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, will be held by the World Bank in its capacity as an FIF, financial intermediary.
And sa ngayon, Mr. Speaker, ang status ng World Bank ay siya ang interim na trustee. Ibig sabihin, dadating din sa punto na ipapasa ng World Bank yung kanyang trabaho sa ibang entity?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
So, Mr. Speaker, meron na po bang prospective na mga entities na after the World Bank ay sila yung mga posibleng mag-handle na ng fund?
I'm not aware, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague.
Okay. Dahil, Mr. Speaker, gusto din nating i-point out na for the longest time ay meron din talagang problema dun sa frameworks ng World Bank. For example, it has been well documented through numerous studies and research na yung World Bank naman, meron siyang inclination dun sa pagpopondo actually or pagbibigay pa nga ng loans dun sa mga projects, activities na makakasira palalo sa kalikasan or it can be deceptive, pwede pa magamit yung mga proyekto for greenwashing or pagpapabango ng mga kumpanya na sila din yung nakakasira sa ating kalikasan. So, ibig sabihin, mainam din no, na yung board na i-host natin sa Pilipinas would also keep an eye kung sino na talaga yung final na magiging trustee ng funds ng Loss and Damage Fund. So, in relation to that, Mr. Speaker, kapag andyan na yung pondo, meron na po ba tayong mechanism paano i-allocate dun sa mga bansang mangangailangan ng pondo, yung kung magkano man so far yung maiipon ng Loss and Damage Fund?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, I think that will be for the board to decide on whenever they meet.
Okay, so far, Mr. Speaker, meron po bang draft guidelines or yan pa ay gagawin pa lamang?
I believe all that they've discussed so far is currently uploaded in the UNFCCC website. And I don't think it has gotten to that point yet on how the fund will be distributed. They've just been talking about the fund arrangements.
Okay. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I have no more questions. But to end this interpellation, we also note na yung Pilipinas, unfortunately, kung sa World Risk Index ng mga bansa na prone dun sa malalang mga kalamidad, tayo po ay number 1. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan all the more, Mr. Speaker, that we use this position to really hold the big players accountable. Lalo na kung ang kanilang mga ginagawa, they may act but they act slowly or they even act deceptively, Mr. Speaker. And the Philippines as the host of the Loss and Damage Fund Board, kailangan i-maximize din natin yung lahat pa ng arenas. Maliban sa fund na ito, ay paano din talaga natin kino-call on yung mga other governments no, na meron pang mga ginagawa, in fact, na nagsusupport sa pagpapabagal ng transition natin to renewable energy at maging yung mga domestic big companies natin, Mr. Speaker, who are perpetuating destructive production systems. So with that, we thank our sponsor at sa iba ding sponsors, chairpersons ng ating committees for this bill. Yan lang, Mr. Speaker. Salamat.
Thank you very much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other member who wishes to interpellate, I now move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The period of sponsorship and debate is hereby terminated. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we open the period of amendment.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no member who wishes to introduce either committee amendment or individual amendment, I now move that we close the period of amendment.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The period of amendments is hereby closed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that we vote on second reading House Bill number 10722 as contained in Committee Report number 1153.
There is a motion to approve House Bill number 10722. All those in favor, please say aye. All those against, say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number 10722 is hereby approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Congratulations.
Mr. Speaker, I move for suspension for a few minutes.
Session is suspended.
value.
Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we are in receipt of the Conference Committee report on the disagreeing provisions of House Bill numbers 9284 and 3197 and Senate Bill number 2432 on the amendments to the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act of 2016. In accordance with the rules, I move to ratify the said Conference Committee report.
There is a motion to ratify the said Conference Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye. All those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The said Conference Committee report is hereby ratified. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adjourn session until tomorrow, Wednesday, August 7, 2024 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. Session is adjourned until tomorrow, August 7 at 3 p.m. Yes, sir.